Pixar's latest film, Luca, is hitting Disney Plus this weekend. You know, usually when a new Pixar comes out, I'm really on fire about it, but this one's left me really Luca-warm. Get it? Luca-warm, because I didn't like it as much as the other. Let's just get to the review. Hello, I'm Dan Murrell here with my thoughts on Luca, which, as I mentioned, is hitting Disney Plus this week. It is not one of those pay $30 and watch it at home movies because it's not hitting theaters at all. It is going straight to Disney Plus. If you have the service, you can watch it when it hits on Friday. Luca is about a young sea creature who's voiced by Jacob Tremblay, who lives off the waters of the Italian coast, but wants to know what it's like above the water where the humans live, but is told not to go there because humans are dangerous. But don't worry, Luca's not like Nemo or Ariel, because his name is Luca, and theirs isn't. In Luca's world, sea creatures go from looking like, well, sea creatures to looking like human beings when they're on dry land. And Luca meets Alberto, another young sea creature who loves living up with the human beings. Luca also develops a fascination with human culture and spends more and more time away from his family and away from his parents. In order to get the money to buy a Vespa scooter so they can see the rest of the world, Luca and Alberto team up to win the Porto Rosso Cup, which is a local race. It's a triathlon that involves biking, swimming, and eating pasta. That is not a joke. That is actually the third part of the event. I am not making an Italian joke there. To win this race, they team up with a local human girl named Julia, and much of the movie is about the crazy hijinks that go on when you're a sea creature who looks like a human being, but even the tiniest splash of water will reveal your true form. There's all kinds of rain-related mishaps, people falling into water, getting rained on, getting splashed on, all the kinds of comedies that you would expect from a situation like this, you get. It's a situational comedy. I wish there was a word for these kinds of situations. There's a really good message to be had here about accepting people for their differences and embracing who you really are. And if you squint really hard at Luca, you can kind of see what that message is, but there's not really a whole lot there. It runs at 84 minutes before the end credits start, so you kind of feel like there wasn't a whole lot there to begin with, but it feels like a bit of a missed opportunity. And I'm not saying that every Pixar film has to have this wonderful, life-changing message at the end of it. The best ones do, but not all of them do, and it shouldn't be a requirement. However, Pixar are the ones that have set the standard, and I think that audiences are trained a little bit more when a new Pixar movie comes out to expect more than just, hey, it looks nice, hey, the characters are cute, there's a couple chuckles here and there. You hope that there's more to this story. There's not really that much more to Luca than what you see right on the surface. Director Enrico Casarosa obviously has a great affection for Italian culture. He is an Italian-born person himself. And screenwriters Jesse Andrews and Mike Jones inject the script with, like I said, some amusing hijinks. All the elements for something really special are there. I just don't think it really comes together. And I'm not going to lay this on Pixar's thing as if this movie is a failure. The movie's not a failure. It's amusing enough. I wouldn't recommend that people not see it, but it's actually one of the few things that I'm okay with the fact that it's on Disney Plus and that it's not going into theaters, because I feel like if Luca had gone into theaters, there's a lot of people that would have gone and paid their money that might have come out a little bit disappointed. It feels a little slight, and that's rare when it comes to Pixar films. It's rare to walk out of a Pixar film feeling like you just saw something that could have been made by any studio at any time, really. Jacob Tremblay as Luca and Jack Dylan Grazer as Alberto are good. They're friendly. They fulfill the roles of seeming like they're friends. There's nothing wrong with their performances. Emma Berman provides the voice of Julia. She's the local girl in town. She fits into the trio nicely. And then you have people like Maya Rudolph and Jim Gaffigan who voice Luca's parents. They pop in and out of the movie looking for Luca. It's amusing, but again, it doesn't really go anywhere. They're just sort of there. It is a little odd to me, and I don't want to start a thing about it, but that there are really very few Italians or Italian Americans that are voicing main roles in this movie. The biggest voice role that an Italian actor has in Luca is the voice of the villain, the bully, Ercole, whose voice is provided by an Italian actor named Saverio Raimondo. Other than that, the lead roles are cast by actors who have non-Italian backgrounds. And like I said, I don't want to make a whole thing about this. I'm not in the school that says that only actors of certain backgrounds can voice characters of the same backgrounds. However, we are at a different time, and Pixar itself has made strides along with Disney in casting voice actors that represent the cultures that are being depicted on screen. We saw it in Coco, we saw it in Moana, and we're seeing it in a lot of movies that are being released these days. This is a movie that is steeped in Italian culture. It beautifully depicts the Italian countryside. It's from an Italian director. It has characters who are Italian, and yet it did not cast very many Italian or Italian American voice actors in the lead roles. This isn't a condemnation of the movie. I'm not going to get upset on behalf of anybody else. This is not an attack on the actors who took these roles. This isn't even really an attack on the artists behind the film. I just think it's an interesting thing to point out because we've been through this many other times where there's a lot of intense scrutiny when you're bringing cultures to the screen to have people both in front of and behind the camera who are steeped in that culture. And we don't really seem to have that with this movie. If, for example, Jacob Tremblay had played or voiced the role of Miguel in Coco, I think there would have been a massive amount of discussion, not just when the movie came out, but from the very beginning. I haven't really heard any of that discussion going on with Luca pre-release, and I'm curious to see if there's going to be any of that discussion after it comes out. Overall, as I'm sure you can probably tell, I thought Luca was fine. There really wasn't anything that bad about it. There just weren't really that many great things either. And I don't expect Pixar to hit a home run every time they step up to the plate. But given the talent and the creative team and their track record, I do expect a little bit more than the single that they've delivered here with Luca. If you like animated films, if you like Pixar, if you have Disney Plus, you're getting it for free anyway. Give it a shot. Maybe you'll like it better than I have. I'm sure there are a lot of people that are going to, and I don't dislike the movie. But I would advise you, if you have the same kind of expectations for this kind of film that you would for any other Pixar film, set them much, much lower than you may usually, because this is not a Soul. This is not an Inside Out. It's really not a Finding Dory either. It's more like a little bit better Good Dinosaur. So while I didn't dislike Luca, it was a bit of a letdown for me. But what did you think? Are you excited for the movie? Do you plan to check it out on Disney Plus this weekend? Let me know down in the comments below. There is so much more to come this week on the channel. We have a spoiler review for episode 2 of Loki dropping very soon. There will also be a review of The Hitman's Wife's Bodyguard, which is hitting theaters this week. Stay tuned for that. We'll have our live show that we have weekly here on the channel. And we have a whole bunch of stuff coming up. We've got F9 coming up very soon, going into theaters. Charts next week. We're looking at the box office. So much going on in the heart of the summer movie season. Thank you so much for watching. If you want to see even more of what I'm up to, you can check me out on Patreon at patreon.com/Dan Murrell. And don't forget to check out my podcast. The newest episode will drop on this channel later today. We're going to be talking about 1996's Mission Impossible. It's a really fun episode. I love revisiting that movie. One of my favorite modern, or I guess probably not quite so modern, action thrillers at this point. But thank you first and foremost for watching this review. I appreciate you taking the time. Stay safe out there, and I'll see you next time.